becoming politically mature. And as they develop this political maturity, they're able to see the recent trends in these political elections. Any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who go to the White House and who stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. When we open our eyes today and look around America, we see America not through the eyes of someone who has enjoyed the fruits of Americanism. We see America through the eyes of someone who has been the victim of Americanism. We don't see any American dream. We've experienced only the American nightmare. We haven't benefited from America's democracy. We've only suffered from America's hypocrisy. And the generation that's coming up now can see it and are not afraid to say it. 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 And are not afraid to say it.
And are not afraid to say it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Black Westchester Presents the People Before Politics radio show every Sunday 6 to 8 on InTheMixRadio.com, giving you that real talk for the community since 2014. This is episode 197, eking up closer and closer to that 200th episode.
Woohoo!
Yes, 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 which is going to be January 27th. We're doing it big. We're going to be on an extra hour. We're going to have some special guests.
Who are some of the special guests coming?
That's the word special.
Surprise.
Yeah. Which it will be known soon, but not yet. Yeah, not just yet. Not just yet.
Oh, you so far.
So for all of those who want to become sponsors for the 200th episode, make sure you email us at blackwestchester@gmail.com. If you want to be a sponsor for Black West for the 200th episode. A couple of quick things. I just really want to say. Wait. Can I do my intro, please?
Yeah.
So a couple of things real quick. I'm starting this new journey. I'm just going to announce it because everybody knows who knows me. So I think like it's important sometimes, we get stressed out, and we allow, and especially what I do. So, I felt it was important to get healthy, mind, body, and spirit. So I'm on this little journey right now, every day, and I'm on day 6 of it, and I'm getting ready to start the Daniel fast next week for the week. And
what's that?
What's the Daniel fast?
Well, it's different. It's from the Bible. But it's Daniel, and it's but there's 3 different ways to do it. Either from 6 a.m. to 12, just water, and then you have nothing but like fruits and vegetables and stuff like that afterwards, no meat, or 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. and then you have nothing but fruits and vegetables. Or for the real heavyweights, from Monday 6 a.m. till Friday 7 p.m. nothing but water. I don't know if I'm there yet.
Yeah.
I'm just stepping into this. I'm not ready to walk with the heavyweights yet. I'm gonna do the middle one. So, but then during the time you spend that time, it's about getting closer to God. You spend that time praying and fasting together and all that stuff. So I'm
won't be bothering you.
I'm going to be doing that going into the next week. So for all of y'all, pray for your man, because this is new. But they say you want something different. You got to do something different. You can't keep doing the same thing expecting a different result. So you got to be able to do something. So and I think it's, again, the whole thing. I'm just bottom line. The whole thing is about being healthy, mind, body, and spirit, and having it all in alignment. So when you deal with all the craziness out there, like we deal with, you know what I'm saying? I'm focused. I'm in alignment. So that's really what it's about. So I'm getting ready to do that, and so I'm just putting it out there. So we got in the house. Dr. Bob, shout out to Dr. Bob. I think he is in Maryland or en route back, and he actually might pop up, but he is, I'm not sure. But in the house, we have, of course, the lovely Latina Lorraine Lopez, LLLL, in the place to be, as always.
Hey.
And we have the sister
Yeah.
soldier
Yay!
of the show, who
The queen is in the house.
who was the kick who was in here when we started this off, Cynthia Turnquest Jones.
What's up, everyone?
You know what I'm saying? So,
How y'all doing today?
In the place
Two
to be.
before politics.
Black by popular demand, Damon K. Jones is actually supposed to be in the building today. For all those, let me get a couple of people shout outs. A lot of people already tuned in, waiting for this conversation. Atif Khalil, Atif K. Coleman is in. Oscar, the Honorable Oscar Davis Jr., Michael Bullock, Don Starchild Moore, Uncle Frank Trulio, Donna Nolan said, hey guys, Paul Anthony Cuesta. Okay, I'm going to get that. Cuesta is tuned in. Starchild in
What's
the
up,
house.
Paul?
I'm back. Kimberly Collins, Maisha Sarah is on the check-in. I think she might actually be on coming up later. You can't see Cynthia's face.
Who said that?
Atif.
What's up, Atif?
Yeah.
See,
yeah.
I'm on. You know, I'm doing like little Instagram and stuff, trying to rock it out real quick.
Yeah.
See my face in a few minutes.
So before we get into everything, Lorraine Lopez, what have you been up to? What's going on with you?
I wanted to say before I so rudely interrupted you, when you was talking about the ads, the sponsorship, they can also be in Spanish. We also take ad money for a 30-second Spanish ad.
Okay, well, when they with all those interested,
Because you mentioned it, I just wanted to say that because we've got a gentleman that wants to do an ad in English and Spanish.
Okay, we make that happen, and we will meet him Tuesday, I think it is, right? So,
yeah.
So anybody interested in sponsorship, call us, hit us. But what have you been up to, Lorraine?
Making money moves.
Oh,
AJ.
okay. Oh, I ain't mad at you.
I'm trying
I ain't
to
mad
make
you.
those dollars.
I ain't mad at you, Cardi B.
I'm supposed to be retired, but I can't. I gotta be doing something. I've gotta be, and if I'm doing something, I might as well get paid for it.
I ain't mad at you.
So I'm starting my little old consulting business. I got my first client,
Okay.
and there's money in consulting.
Yeah, I know.
There really is.
Some old retired politicians been doing it for years.
Word, if Nick Spano can do it, I can do it.
That's how they keep making money after they retire.
That's the game.
And keep their pension.
It's definitely the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got some big name companies that are interested in sitting down and talking with me.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, you don't want to give it all away just yet, you know.
mostly community organizing, stuff like that. Stuff that I'm good at, not so much whatever other people do.
Cynthia Turnquest Jones,
What's up, AJ?
back for the first show of the new year.
Oh yeah, that's not nice.
The first Sunday of the year.
No.
Communion Sunday for all my churchgoers.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. What's going on?
Pretty good. Ain't nothing going on, AJ. You know, trying to make sure that you educate the children. That's my focus. On
Yeah.
educating our children. I just came back from Nassau, Bahamas.
Yes, I've seen
Nice.
I've seen all the pictures on Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, I just came back from Nassau, Bahamas.
She's a globetrotter.
I met a group of girls that was rocking. They have a thing that's called Junkanoo. Junkanoo is a really big celebration in a lot of the Caribbean islands, but in Nassau, Bahamas, it's truly established to the point where a lot of politicians was out there from the United States, and it's a big competition. It starts Christmas night, and it goes into Boxing Day. Boxing Day is the day after Christmas, and so we party. That's what it basically is. We party from 10 p.m. I party from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m.
Yeah, I seen your outfit. You had what was the day when you was
what was you wearing?
The with the thing.
Yeah, I got dressed up. I was down. Shout out to my cousins, the music makers that are in Nassau, Bahamas, and we didn't win because we got disqualified because of that. We got disqualified because because you have to have a certain amount of participants. And so when you do the first lap is 90 minutes. 90 minutes of straight partying, right? And then you have to do a second 90 minutes.
Wow.
When we got to the second 90 minutes, it was around 2 o'clock in the morning. They was like, no. So a lot of people dropped out. But that's all right. We still have fun. So it went from 10 p.m. at night all the way until 10 a.m. And then they rocked it out again New Year's.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Oh, you spent New Year's there?
Nah, I came back. I had to come back. I had to go hang out with my mom and pop in Florida. And then I came back. And
she didn't even come back here. She went to Florida.
Yeah,
She is a globetrotter.
Yeah.
Yo, because the last time she came through here, then she was in Brazil.
I was just going to say France.
I was in Italy.
No, but the Let Girls Learn.
I was in Belize.
Yeah.
I was in Belize doing Let Girls Learn in Belize. And then one of my purpose of going to the Bahamas was to find a group of girls who I could do Let Girls Learn with in the Bahamas, and I found them.
Okay.
So they rocked out with me during Junkanoo, and they're hungry. You know, our girls are hungry to learn. You know, so that's about it. And then Wednesday, I went up to City Hall and fought the power up there.
That's it.
We can talk about that later, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm trying to pull up your picture, man. You got so much stuff on your daggone page. I'm scrolling the picture of you and your the outfit with the big thing.
With my Junkanoo outfit on.
Yeah, I was trying to.
So you gotta get fitted. You get fitted for it.
I see. Man, here they go. Here they go.
Yeah, that's me right there.
Switch screens. Switch the screen real quick. There we go.
There she go.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, man. Look at that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. A lot of rum drinking. A lot of rum drinking. A lot of rum drinking.
Yeah.
That's the only way you could dance for like 90 minutes straight with heavy. The costumes are heavy. They're very heavy. They're custom made. They practice all year. And I don't know how some, I didn't wear the really heavy costumes, but there was some girls that was in the crew that started to feel like real hot, get ready to pass out and stuff like that. But we had a good time.
You kept the costume?
Yeah, my costume is in the Bahamas though. I didn't feel like carrying it on the. I only travel with one suitcase. So shout out to everyone that travels with just a carry. I only carry with a carry-on. What about you? How do you travel?
I don't travel, but if I did, it would be with a whole bunch of them, and I wouldn't use half of it.
You gotta get the one bag. It's easier like that. What about you, AJ?
I haven't really traveled the way I used to like to travel, but I used to. I mean, you know, we being in the music business, I used to be able to travel with no
Heavy,
luggage.
with no okay.
And you can get what you need when you get there. But yeah, them days.
Yeah,
them days have been going.
There was a couple of people on the flight. You know what was interesting? There were no black people on the flight Christmas morning when I was going to the Bahamas.
Oh,
I was the only black person on the entire flight. I was like, "Where's the black people at?"
Probably already there.
So real quick, Oscar Davis Jr., the Mount Vernon Public Library trustee president, said, "Lorraine, where is your office? We welcome you to Mount Vernon."
Oscar, Can I tell you something? I'm the Honorable Lorraine Lopez, too, just like you are. I've been dying to tell you that. And let me tell you another fun fact that you might not know, Oscar Davis Jr., and the Honorable Oscar Davis Jr. If you go to the Yonkers Public Library in downtown Yonkers, the new one, you'll see my name up in the plaque up there. That's going to be there forever and ever and ever, just like your name will be there forever and ever in Mount Vernon. So we do have a lot in common, Mr. Davis. And my office right now is in Brewster, but I'm willing to make a home in Mount Vernon. We'll see what happens.
Okay. So
And
also,
thank
What do you I know you didn't expound, but you said something that was very true in regards to consulting.
Mhm.
I don't know if you noticed about me, but I used to be the director at the Yonkers YWCA in the daycare.
I used to be on the board at the YWCA. I got a Trailblazer Award from the YWCA in Yonkers.
Who was the CEO then?
I don't remember. It was a long
Patricia
time ago.
Sadler?
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Oh wow, we probably crossed paths.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's pretty
So
cool.
I used to be the director there, and they paid me. I can remember. I think my salary at the time was like $27,000. Right.
Wow.
And I was like, yo, Sadler, you got to come up off the cash. You know what I'm saying? I just finished graduating from college, and I was looking at something, larger than that. So I left. I stayed there for a year. I left, and I went into the New York City Department of Education, where I am now.
Mm-hmm.
This is my 22nd year of being an educator. And so Patricia asked me to come back because their paperwork and the financing and everything started going down after I left, because I have a degree in accounting also.
I know
So-
you got a million degrees. I know all about you.
So
I did my
staying in the, you know what I'm saying, I left them and they was in the black. I went back and they was in the red. But when I went back as a consultant. I got more. I got more as a consultant than when I was there as
that's usually how it works.
as the director of the daycare. I was banking. So, individuals need to look into consulting. That's I'm looking into doing that after I, retire from the New York City Department of Education. That's what I'm trying to work on right now.
Well, I'm charging. I was the first community organizer that the city of Yonkers ever had. I got trained in New York City to do this, and me and Obama got something in common. And then when I was a councilwoman, and then when I was a special assistant to two Republican administrations, I oversaw the Office of Constituent Services and the Office of Human Rights.
Right.
So most of what I did was organizing and helping constituents and people's rights and stuff like that. I'm more of an advocate.
Right.
And that's the kind of stuff that I'm looking to do. Like right now, I got a case of somebody that's having some problems with the police department in Yonkers, a business. And I also have a big conglomerate that's getting ready to call me the next couple of days. They want me to do some organizing for them to get the people in the community. They're coming into town and they want the people in the community to get to know them. And I'll be setting up those meetings and stuff like that.
Okay.
But let me tell you, I had this one guy, I told him, I'll sit down with you, but it's not less than $5,000 just to sit down with you. And you know what? He said, okay.
This is what I'm trying to tell you.
He said, okay. I said, I'm giving you 75% off. I played that shit off real good. And it worked. But, now I'm going to.
So getting back to the show and
No,
conversation,
no,
I'm like, yo, like I feel like I'm
we
just.
thought you was meditating.
I'm
and you
I feel like I was sitting there
Trying
like
to
eavesdropping on the phone call conversation between the two of y'all. Like, shout out to the Future Society, Larry Cates, Larry Fair, Tracy Cates, Montika Jones,
What up, Trace?
Marvin Church, Andre Josephat, Lioness Felicia.
That's Barnes.
Who?
Her last name is Barnes. We call ourselves by last names.
Okay, there you go.
Kathy Rodriguez.
Damon K. Jones is on the way. AO Joints, and go ahead. What'd you say? Who?
Kathy Rodriguez is also on.
Cool.
Girlfriend of mine.
Cool. Shout
Oni
out to
Medina Sr. is on.
Lynn Woodley, Carrie Bittner. Is that Bittner? I hope I pronounced that right. Kimberly Collins. I think I got everybody else. Got everybody else. So yeah, Damon K. Jones is en route, stuck in traffic. Somebody just walked in the door.
That should be him right now trying to get in.
Where's the link? Did you sent all the links out? I'm looking for the link.
No, somebody's outside trying to get to the door.
That's probably
It's on my Facebook page. You share it to your page. It's on my page. So,
yes.
for those of you just tuned in, you're listening to the Black Westchester Power. Oh, don't forget to check us out tomorrow at WVOX from 11 a.m. to 12 noon for the Black Westchester Power Hour.
Can I ask who's the guest tomorrow? I'm not allowed to ask that either.
Might just be me and Damon talking about what's been going on recently. Who was that? Was that for us? Cynthia, she answered me. Okay, so anyway,
tomorrow she's gonna start. You said she starts with the laughing.
Yeah.
We have your whole MO.
No, you just gotta watch any old show. That's
I was like, oh man.
You just go any show, and then the two of them, they get to arguing or they get to laughing. It's one or the other. So
Damon's in the house.
Oh, okay. So Black by popular demand. He is in the place to be. Council President Andre Wallace is checked in. Congratulations.
Congratulations, sir.
I don't think
Virgin Islands?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's not in. Yeah, he's not in Mount Vernon. He's definitely not.
I need to go to the Virgin Islands, Mr. Wallace. You need me to bring anything for you? A cupcake?
Wait. It is not.
Why is it that every time I try to say something, you tell me to wait?
It is not because I'm the host. It is not an optical illusion. It is not an optical illusion. Black by popular demand. Damon K. Jones is actually in the building.
Hey.
So I like that. I like that T-shirt you have on there. I like that.
This is one of the classics. Black Westchester classics.
Lorraine, go ahead, Lorraine.
No, I ain't got nothing to say right now.
Cynthia, Andre said more toys.
Andre,
you said, do you need me to bring anything? He said more toys.
Y'all are giving out toys.
No, he's telling you to bring more toys.
I know that.
Right. He said bring more toys.
Andre, enjoy your vacation. Because when you get back, you got some work to do, bruh.
Atif said the champ is here. The champ is here when Damon walked in the building. The champ is here. Mark Stuckey's on the check-in.
Andre, you named your son the same as my grandson's name.
Yes.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yes.
I was gonna say the name, but I decided not to.
I see he's in the Virgin Islands, and he's there with the governor.
Okay.
Nice.
I guess you're on his page.
He's at that political. Just a politician.
Right, he down there.
He's down there with the other politicians.
Well, he's big time right now. He's the president.
Andy King is there too.
Yeah, they all there. A bunch of them down there.
Yeah. Andy King, just shout out to Andy King. Andy King did a lot of work with the school that I used to work at that Ramali Graham attended, and he made sure that he kept a close tie with that school. Shout out to Andy King, Chuck Berkeley. They kept a close tie with that school even after Ramali Graham passed away.
And Andy King has been, big shout outs to him, and he's running for, I think he told me when he was at Andre's party that he's going to run for Bronx Borough president.
Nice.
And I'm getting behind him because I've always saw him on the front line for people in the Bronx and people throughout the other 5 boroughs. So
Was he
shout
related
out.
to Sean?
Big shout out to Andy King.
Is he related to Sean King?
No.
No.
Oh.
Who knows?
I mean,
He
everybody
could be- he
related
could be
somewhere.
related.
And
Martin
and
Luther
and
King.
and he's one of my bow tie brothers. I gotta
Shout out to Nas Duncan.
Look, he even wearing bow ties in the Bahamas. That's what I'm trying to tell you right there.
Shout out to Nas Duncan. Lioness Felicia said Young Scholars Academy. And she said hashtag Ramali Graham. Shelly Lewis.
She was one of Ramali Graham's parent coordinator.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shelly Lewis said good evening. Hi, everybody. Andre Wallace said, hi. We turned it from red to blue. I guess he's talking about the event down there.
Wait, there's Republicans down there too?
Well, he said we turned it from red to blue. Maybe they used to be down there.
They don't have no.
Hey, Damon, guess what?
What?
I'm changing my.
No, I know what you. I know. I told you. I said on your page. Congratulations. I saw even George Matt Lattimore.
You saw that?
Yeah, big time. I mean, the county exec say, "Come on back home, girl."
Nas said, "Good evening, hi all."
What's up, Nas? Happy New Year.
Sin.
What's up, sis? How you doing?
Pepsi Martinez,
Hey, what up, cuz?
Dagmar,
What up, another cuz? Jimenez.
Yeah, Jimenez. Hello to everybody. Hello to everybody on the panel. So, we had a couple of things this week. We already had talked about it a little bit. The Mount Vernon City Council awarded, elected, and Councilman Andre Wallace as the City Council President for 2019. And he was installed at the statutory meeting, which was Wednesday, I believe. It was Wednesday was the 2nd? Yeah, Wednesday the 2nd. There was a lot going on. Tracy Gardner, shout out to my cousin. That's my cousin Jeff, Damon. That's his wife.
Okay.
Tuned in. So shout out, congratulations to Council President Andre Wallace.
It's a beautiful thing.
We're gonna see,
There's a lot of inaugurations going on this week.
Yes.
Heavy ones going on.
We had the
Biaggi's
new
just
Congress,
had hers.
right? The new Congress, the new color of Congress, the new faces of Congress have all been sworn in now. It's a different world from where the white men used to come from. It's a whole different world for them right now when they walk into the buildings. And they don't see just them no more.
They'll be all right. They'll be all right. It just takes time.
Yeah. You go, Auntie TJ. It's ISIS. I love you.
All right.
Aww.
Hey, Isis, how you doing?
That's cute.
She was at the Cupcake Cutie event the other day.
Oh, okay.
Making gingerbread houses.
Oh yeah, so we was all at the gingerbread.
She was one of the persons assisting Misha giving out the
Candies?
No, not candy. They had a lot of candy there. They had a lot of candy. Tasha, she had her little granddaughter there. That little girl was eating a whole lot of candy. And then I asked Tasha, I said, yo, so when you took her home, how did it go when she got home? She said, I don't know, because I just dropped off at her father's house and kept it moving. That little girl was eating a lot of candy.
So Shelly Lewis wants to know, can someone please tell her when election for mayor here in Mount Vernon is? What year? This is the year, 2019.
This November.
November? This November coming up?
Yes.
It's been
the summer of 2015.
2020.
No, the summer of 2015 was the election. He got sworn in 2016.
You're right.
The election is 2019, and the person will be sworn in January 2020.
Oh, I thought it went different.
No.
Also, they got a couple of months.
It's 4 years. It's been 4 years.
He's right on time to go to jail.
Yes. So yes, it's been 4 years since the last
right
president.
on time.
It's been 4 years for the.
That's Lauren Razor probably.
Yes. I thought she was coming in the studio.
No, she's calling in.
Okay. Hello.
Oh, Miss Cupcake Cutie here herself.
Hello, caller.
Oh, Chris gave you a hoodie, huh? You purchased it.
Hey, hello, caller.
Hi.
I'm not hearing.
I hear a lot of highs. This is Lauren Razor.
Hey, yeah, we were saying hello to you. Yes, hi.
Oh, I didn't know who was saying hi because I have to tune in. I'm trying to get online to see everybody, but I don't know if I'll be in time.
You're gonna have an echo. If you get online to see everybody, just turn the volume down.
Yeah, please.
No, that's okay. I don't need to do that. The bottom line is you can hear me now, right?
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, and just entering the studio is the very talented, very lovely Maisha Stokely.
First time on the show, you gotta give her a hand clap. Gotta give her a hand clap. First time on the show.
Can I get a chance to work here?
Oh, I'm just letting you know, man.
I got a lot of things to touch here.
Last year I had my son on the show. This year I have my daughter on the show.
Oh, very nice.
Yes.
Come on,
That's fantastic.
So this young lady is the very talented owner and operator of Cupcake Cutie Boutique. She's also a nurse at
I'm a nurse.
a nurse. Okay. She's also in school, and
Many hats.
you also
Wow.
have an organization called Black Girls Bake, where she teaches young girls to bake, and does several other things. So I definitely want to welcome you to the show. And as always, I say to you in person, I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
Continue doing what you're doing. So, we had an incident this week. Also on the same day that it was Wednesday, the same day that the councilman was sworn in as president. The Mount Vernon city government, the Thomas administration, had once again tried to shut down Cupcake Cutie for what appears to be retaliation against Damon and my so he's going after his family for us being very outspoken, and we had Maisha and we have Lauren Razor, who you can hear on the phone, the attorney for Cupcake Cutie, here to talk about the incident, and Cynthia was also present Wednesday as well. So can you just, for the people that don't know what's going on, can you tell? Well, first off, when did you open? How long have you been open?
I've been open since October 2015.
Okay. Yeah, make sure you put your mic close to you. So
Can I ask a question?
You could go right ahead.
Can you tell us the dream of how it came to be?
The Cupcake Cutie dream.
Yes, ma'am.
So I've been baking since I was young, probably like 7 years old. I always liked baking.
It's hard to hear. I really can't hear.
Okay, so you got to speak up.
Can you
louder.
turn the mic
Yeah,
on?
and
I
you
need
gotta,
my mic turned up. I talk low.
okay. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear her better now?
Yes.
Okay.
So I've been baking since I was young, probably about 7 years old. I used to just bake stuff at home. Started off baking stuff from the box. My mom used to come home from work like, "What is this?" and it'd be like a whole cake. But I went to school at University of Miami, and I started baking more there. I was in the Black Nursing and Student
Okay,
Association.
they're telling you to stay closer to the mic.
I was the president of the
Right.
Black
I
Nursing
can't hear also.
Student Association, and we used to have bake sales, and I started baking there. So the business kind of turned into a business of its own. When I moved back home to Mount Vernon, my mom used to post my cupcakes and brownies and stuff on her Facebook page, and her friends started to want to order for their birthday parties and baby showers. So we started baking from home in Mount Vernon. And the orders became overwhelming, and like any mother would do, she started helping me and just showing me about, the business aspect of stuff, like, oh, if you're going to sell this, you got to make it look pretty, you got to wrap it up, you got to put it in a box, just being a mother. So it kind of became a business of its own. I never had the dream of really like being a business owner. I always wanted to be a nurse, which I do as well. So that's how it became. I mean, the orders became overwhelming, so we decided to open up a shop because we needed the space. And we decided what better place than Mount Vernon, where we're both from. So that's how it became Cupcake Cutie Boutique.
Beautiful.
One of the things I said, and you said this when you first opened it, the shop definitely, the location. Like, that's something you would usually find in Gramerton. Or Gramerton, on the other side of Mount Vernon, or outside of Mount Vernon, Pelham Manor, or because it's that kind of a nice shop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's so to be on South 6th Avenue. You know what I'm saying? Like that's you brought the block up. Like you brought basically the area. Like I'm happy where your location is.
Thank you.
And for those who on the other side of town that don't like to come to our side, that they come to Cupcake Q, then they go back across. Then they go back across the tracks, but they come get them.
I mean, if you have a good product, they'll come anywhere, and that's what I kept believing, because of course I wanted to be on Gramerton or in Fleetwood, but starting out as a young business owner, woman, a minority business owner, and we built everything from the ground up. We saved our money, no investments and things like that. So we wanted to start off, slow and start off easy and just ease our way into it and see what becomes of it. So we decided to be in the cut over there, and it turned out to be a good thing. I like my little shop. I think it's cute.
It's beautiful.
I got the name Cupcake Cutie. One of my friends, I baked for her daughter's first birthday party, Brittany Brown, and she called me the Cupcake Cutie. And ever since then, it's stuck. And I'm like, if I open up a shop, I want it to be like a boutique. And then it just became Cupcake Cutie Boutique. So that's how that came along.
Best cupcakes in the land. I'm telling you, y'all.
Thank you.
I don't go as often as I would like to because I don't need the calories. But
I mean, we have other options. We have sugar free. We have vegan cupcakes. So you know,
what kind of cupcakes you said? You have vegan cupcakes?
Vegan cupcakes, yes, because everyone is changing their diet now, and I'm with it. Dairy free, vegan, sugar free. So we're adjusting.
Okay, I gotta try that. Let's see what the taste. I'm just curious to see what that tastes like.
They taste good.
So what so I know that the background part. I wanted individuals to hear that you were in, because I had gotten the background part from your mom. Right. And I don't know if you knew that your mom and I grew up together, and you know that me and that dude over there went to college together.
And that's why they always got.
Did you know that?
That's always got in trouble in class.
Did you know that Damon and I was in speech? We had a speech class. We took a speech class together, and we ripped everybody that got up there.
Exactly.
And was like, watch when we get up there and rock it.
And I've never stopped running my mouth since that class.
So I got that. I got the background part, and so where did it get to the part where it's overwhelming? The orders are crazy. I know I make orders for everything. You've done my son when he went to the prom.
Right.
You've done my birthday parties. You've done Let Girls Learn Day. You've done the Brown Urban Mother Partnership. Anything that I have, you've done, right?
Right.
And so when did it take that other step now is that courageous part where I'm going to step out and I'm opening a store?
So I work nights. My phone was ringing during the day when I was sleeping for cupcakes. I'm like, all right, something has to happen here, because I can't be up during the day taking orders and then working at night.
It might be hard to hear.
So the people that's watching say they can hear me. It might just be your phone.
Well, you know what?
They said they can hear me.
No, but can I say something though? Because I do the same thing when I'm reading the screen. You while you're talking to Cynthia, you turn your head from the microphone.
Keep looking fake.
Like I've seen you do that a few times. And I'm guilty of that. I'll be reading the screen and they say they can't hear me either.
Right. So it became overwhelming when people were calling my phone for cupcakes during the day, business hours. But that's the time when I sleep because I work at night. So I'm like, this is a lot. This is a lot. Maybe we have something going here. So it really became a business of its own. I was never looking to actually open up a business. People would just ask me to bake for them and make stuff for them. And I'm like, all right, I have to start charging people. And then we just, it was an idea. Let's just look for places. And where would we look? And it was a battle at first, I'm going to be honest. Should we open up in Mount Vernon, or should we go somewhere else?
I remember.
You remember,
right?
I
was on a part of the journey.
And
when we went to Pelham.
Right.
And we looked at us. We done some spots in Pelham.
And it was more my mom. Oh, let's open up in Mount Vernon. We're from here. People would support us. And I'm just like, all right, because, you know, I went to school in University of Miami, so I got out of Mount Vernon for a little while. I got to experience what life is like, you know, outside of Mount Vernon. I'm like, you know, we should expand our horizons a little bit. But then at the same time, I'm like, Mount Vernon is a good place, and it's up and coming, and we do have a lot of supporters here and a lot of love. So that's what we chose to go with. We chose to open up in Mount Vernon on this little side block. And it's been going really well. Since 2015, everything has been beautiful. My dream has become a reality, and I never realized I would have so much support. Like even today was a good day. So many people came to the shop to show their support and just to pray and tell me to keep pushing forward. And I'm like, wow, like who are they? They don't even know me, but they know the community and they know what they want to see in a community. And this woman came in there and she basically had tears in her eyes, and she said, you know, I'm so happy that you're fighting for what's right, fighting for what's yours, because I don't want any other young entrepreneur from Mount Vernon to be discouraged. She's like, what if someone else is, you know, scared to open up? This would make them not want to open up in Mount Vernon. And there's so many talented people in Mount Vernon. My friends, you know, I went to Mount Vernon High School.
Well, let me just interrupt for 1 second there. Only saying that because a young man who was in my office this afternoon was inspired because he said he wanted to go and see if he could get a food truck or whatever the system was to try to get a license for a food truck. So, and he thought that Mount Vernon was he's a millennial, Mount Vernon was a viable place to start a business. So, Maisha, you're on the right track, and this is exactly what we want. We want some of the millennials to come up here. They certainly do it in Silicon Valley. You have young people creating Facebook and various other industries. We can have the same thing in Mount Vernon, uninterrupted, of course.
Absolutely. I wanted to say, too, you don't understand how, when you talk about support, there were two things that struck a nerve recently. When the city tore down, and Cynthia can speak about that one, too, tore down the tennis bubble at Memorial Field for the tennis center. A lot of people were very outraged. And the second thing that people were equally or more outraged was the attempted closing down of your shop. And that's where several people who were standing back and basically wanted to give the administration a chance, they were like, oh, hell no, now they've gone too far. It was like the match that was struck in a lot of people that made them step up. Jesse Van Loo credits it like the reason when that happened, he said, I have to get involved and I have to start doing something. And him and Lateef ended up starting to save Mount Vernon and having the rallies and stuff. It was seeing what happened to you that was like the last straw for him. And he was like, I can no longer sit back and not do nothing. So a lot of you even on that level, you've inspired people. Like you've been, you know what I'm saying? Like just that fact that it happened, they were like, oh well, you know what? Now you've been going too far. Right. You know what I'm saying? And then that's so I got a lot of that from people that were supporters of the administration that you know didn't want to hear nothing negative about them, and they were like, okay, you know, okay.
Well, I just want to interrupt, and only quick interruption about the tennis court. That was the most unique part of Mount Vernon. That there are people in various towns, Bronxville, Scarsdale, all over the place, wish they had one of those tennis courts with tennis bubbles where you can play overnight. This is a town that had that, and that was major. It's major. Right. For athletes, it's major. I'm a tennis player, so.
Right. So those
So you play tennis, Lauren?
I did. I did. Okay. I go so way back, I can't even tell you who autographed my sneaker. Althea Gibson, which you may not know who she is, but she was one of the first black tennis players to win the U.S. Open.
Yes.
So, but the fact of the matter is to have a tennis court in this town, okay, that was premier to have a tennis bubble. That means the sacrifices that Serena and her sister went through playing in a park with a wood racket doesn't have to happen anymore because we would have had the state-of-the-art tennis center that can produce many, many Serenas, not just the only one, but they could be coming down the pike being some of the top tennis players, next golf and the other sports, et cetera, et cetera. So that was a diamond that was in this rough, and I guess it just wasn't appreciated the way it should have been.
Just to piggyback off of what you said, when individuals don't know, so the thing with the tennis bubble and myself was the fact that I attend St. John Paul and Clemens Church, and our summer program for the children, we only have around 25 children, but at the tennis center, they allowed them to come for free, especially after we were not getting the grants anymore, right? And in the midst of struggling, those children were able to go to the tennis center on twice a week during the summer and get some skills for free.
You know what? That now, there's been people that said, oh, the kids in Mount Vernon don't get to use it.
No,
and,
and every single one of those children are from Mount Vernon.
Wow.
And so what we do at St. John Paul and Clement is that we the parishioners sponsor the children. Like, individuals be like, okay, I'll take a child, I'll pay for a child, especially when our grants stop coming in. But Kayla, he was willing to have our children come, and we took them over there, and it was twice a week for free.
Well, I think, in overall, in looking at the young people that are qualified, that are educated, that come out of Mount Vernon, 8 out of 10 times they do not come home. 8 out of 10 times that they do not come home. And it's probably 9 out of 10 times that they do not come back to Mount Vernon. There is a brain drain of young, educated black people in Mount Vernon. Some people might disagree, but when you have someone that can take a business anywhere in New York State and make money, but decide to come home and not do it on the north side, right? Do it on the south side.
Yep.
And make a store that is beautiful, beautiful and clean. Not clean, not dangerous, it's safe inside. It's not appreciated. And then it's drug in the dirt by a city government. Unnecessary. And this is part of the problem of the political arena and the political process of Mount Vernon and the political culture. We need to be supporting young people that want to bring back their talents in the city. We need to support anyone that wants to bring something in the city at this point, especially the sacrifice that you have to run a business. Running a business on that level that Maisha is running it and Montika is running it is no joke. As the husband and the father, it's a lot of sacrifice. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of hours that you don't get sleep because you're busy running to get supplies, running to do orders, running to cater. So, I mean, it's not a game. So to have someone or people that will conspire to destroy a business because they don't like what someone says in the family, it's horrible. It's horrible. And, I'm not saying that anybody should defend us, but when you see 2 black women being respected, and I don't see the black men in the community standing up, I see a little handful. I don't see the preachers out there. I don't see those who say that they're that all this black power shit that they be talking. Where is it now? Matter of fact, I asked before, where are the men?
But Damon, if they don't come out if you don't hear them saying anything when Junior was murdered, you ain't hear them say anything when when my godson was murdered, you don't hear them saying anything then. Why would they come out now? Understand what I'm saying?
So wait, before we go there, I want to
Go
to the next level. The next what actually happened for those like
All right.
we didn't get to the point of we passed what happened.
Look,
and, you know what I'm saying?
right.
So, yeah. Let's get to
All right.
what happened. So,
Lauren can answer.
Yeah, Lauren, what can you,
Yeah, Lauren.
for the listeners, for the people that are listening, can you explain what happened to Cupcake Cutie and the Cupcake Cutie response to the first closing attempt to close and the second attempt to close?
Well, on the first round, we have a notice of claim that was filed against the city. So there has been legal action that we're looking to pursue on behalf of Cupcake Cutie. We believe that the actions by the mayor and this administration has been retaliatory in nature. That is our claim. On or about, say, August 3rd or so, we start off with this fake foul smell, as they allege, and it turns out that that was a pretext to start the ball rolling of trying to disrupt the business. It turns out that the employee who basically indicated that they were sent there for whatever reason and he didn't really know and there was never a foul smell or anything like that, he has since been fired. And unfortunately, he's been fired, and he has filed a case against the city of Mount Vernon. The attempt on, everything has its nexus. The foul smell allegedly was on a day in which it was July 17th that they came into the shop to claim that there was that issue. That was the same day that Joe Spezio's contract was canceled. Well, it was canceled before that, but it made the Low HUD news on July 17th. That same day was the day that Mr. Troy Grant came into to Cupcake Cutie and began this thing. Okay. I believe the facts are that Damon was on a panel, I believe it was August 3rd or something to that effect.
I was the moderator of the AG, the Democratic New York AG debate.
Correct. And what I believed happened shortly thereafter, either August 3rd or August 4th, was the day that they came in and attempted to shut it down. That was the next day or either the same day that Damon was at the county moderating the issues with the Attorney General. On or about August 3rd or 4th was when they came into the store to attempt to fully shut it down that day.
And can I just say, so
yes.
why that's an issue, going a couple of months before, the New York State Attorney General arrested and arraigned the Mayor Thomas and charged him with several charges of corruption. Why that has any significance of him being on the panel?
It all has a bearing, but what I'm looking at specifically is that Low HUD or whichever newspaper came out on July 17th reporting that they were shutting down a waste management, a carting contract with Mr. Spezio. That same day is when this Troy Grant floated over to Cupcake Cutie claiming there were issues regarding a complaint, which he says he admittedly indicated that he was sent over there. It really wasn't anything. The addresses were wrong. So that's where the harassment began. So from there,
when Troy Grant came, shout out to Troy Grant. He's one of my fraternity brothers. That's one of my fraternity brothers, Omega Psi Phi. So when Troy Grant came there, is there like a call? Do you make a call when you want to report that there's some kind of foul smell coming? Well,
we have, like I said, there's a notice of claim that's on file that has all the documents. I don't want to go specifically over every detail of the case because I think we have others to talk about. But specifically, he was over there because of this innocuous claim or this so-called a reported claim where there was no individual that that reported it. It was an anonymous claim. Let me just use those words. An anonymous claim from somebody, which was reported at the wrong address. It wasn't the same address that Cupcake Cutie, where their establishment was. All of this took place. There were other statements, but it's in our notice of claim about what is attributed to what the mayor said on that day. Made some comments, let's get some cupcakes, derogatory, like you're aiming at Cupcake Cutie. All of these we believe will be able to prove that's not our issue. This is how it started. They took no action between August, the August 4th or August, and say last week, January 2nd. There was brief talks. I sent letters to get responses from the city. I sent it to the law department to get responses so we could sit down and work together. We indicated all along that our belief was that we were in compliance with whatever the codes were, the rules, or whatever it was, and that in my letter, that if you disputed that or if there was an issue, let's sit down and talk to me.
Lauren, excuse me for one minute. You noted that you sent letters to the law department. Did you receive any response from them?
No.
Okay.
No, and several of them were hand delivered.
I want to. So, when this happened, and they went to close down, I want Maisha. So now you're being told your shop is going to be closed. Nobody's explaining to you
at which
why.
time? August or
the first incident, in August. What was going through your mind? Like, I mean, you just,
I was totally blindsided. I worked that night before, and I received a call that they were trying to shut the shop down, and that was just out of nowhere. That's like your worst nightmare when you have a business, and that shop is like my baby. I don't have any kids, but that's my baby. I built it up the way I wanted it, and I invested a lot of my time and money that I saved. And it's like, if you have kids and you send them to school, and then the school call and say somebody's messing with them, bullying them and harassing them and picking with them, you're like, you want to defend them. You want to fight for what's right. You want to get to the bottom of it. So that's what I wanted to do. And I came there and I was asking questions and no one had answers. So I just felt very, intimidated, and I felt like they wasn't respecting me as the owner. I don't know if it's because I'm young or I'm a woman. I just didn't know what was going on, and no one had answers.
But now, what happened next was like it was actually amazing. You're not the first business that have been targeted. You're not the first. I've covered several of those stories of businesses that have been targeted and been told to leave, and they had 5 minutes to leave, and their business were padlocked. But you did something that none of these older adults had done before. You was like, I did nothing wrong. I'm not leaving. My mom, how she is, and that's how I was raised, just to stand for what you believe in and do the right thing. And we're not into bullying and things like that. That's just very wrong. I don't like that at all. And I don't like when people feel uncomfortable. And if you make me feel uncomfortable and I know I didn't do anything wrong, I'm not tolerating that at all. And that was just what I told my mom. I'm like, I'm not leaving because this don't seem right. Something's not right. And that's why I reached out for legal counsel. And we have Lauren Razor, who's been trying to get to the bottom of this, and she even had pushback. It's like, it's just kind of unreal. They don't even respond to any of her letters and calls and things like that. So I don't know. Yeah, but I wanted to get to the because we get into the legal part. I wanted that human part. Like, I was there. I was there that night, so I saw how you felt.
Saw everything.
I saw the toll it had on you, and I wanted to paint that picture for the audience of, you know what I'm saying, make it more human, because usually they try to dehumanize you. You know what I'm saying?
What I learned is that there's a lot of individuals who follow you, and you don't know that they follow you. but then when something happens, they'll say something.
Right.
Right. So when it happened the first time, I was in Central America. I got a call from my girl Ilona, cause Ilona, she's Belizean also. She said, "Yo, gal, you don't see what it going in? I believe." Yo, I was like, "Yo," I said, "Wait, what are you talking about?" She said, "Your girl at the Cupcake Cutie, they got problems over there." I was all the way in Central America.
I remember.
So individuals are watching. You know what I'm saying? Yesterday, one of my colleagues, he's a big dog in UFT. He rolled up in the Cupcake Cutie yesterday.
Right.
He didn't even say nothing. He came in, did what he had to do, took a picture, tagged himself, and left. I was like, oh,
Right.
you know?
And
shout out to Carl Aben. So there's a lot of individuals who are watching.
Right. And I just want to say thank you to my supporters. You know, I came on here really to address them tonight because it's amazing. People are supporting me for real. People are really upset.
People coming from Yonkers.
People are upset about what's happening.
The
and
county.
Yeah.
Like,
they are coming to my shop and they are talking to me and talking to my aunt and expressing how they feel. And some of them are in tears. And I'm like, wow, I didn't realize that I had this impact. I didn't realize so many people were watching. But this is a big deal.
Exactly.
This is bigger than me. This is way bigger than me, and I'm starting to realize that. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who, I'm getting, all emotional. I wear my emotions on my sleeve. I mean, you saw that on the news.
Yeah, that day you cried. Yeah, I cried. Everybody cried.
Yeah, everybody.
Yeah.
You know what?
Oh, yeah,
Everybody.
that-
I got called.
I knew it was gonna make a couple of people cry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People was gonna cry for that.
I mean, it's just very emotional. It's an emotional time for all of us. But I want to say thank you to everyone who stopped by the shop, whether it was just, to say, keep going. I feel that and I hear that. Every message via Facebook, Instagram, emails, text messages, phone calls, I receive all of that. And I think about it at night when I'm sad and I'm upset about what's going on. I go back and I reread stuff. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I can't even say thank you anymore. It's just unreal, the support that I'm receiving.
And see, I also wanted the people to hear that, because I noticed, I do social media, so I noticed and I watched the people who came through, who are not political at all. Or some people who don't put their self on, they don't get involved in any kind of anything, and they all were like, "Yo, I'm coming and I'm gonna buy a dozen or half a dozen and take pictures and say I support." You know what I'm saying? And you got county executives and people from different municipalities coming through. That night when we were on Facebook Live and the whole thing, I was getting calls from people were watching on Facebook in Baltimore and Atlanta, calling me like, "Yo, what's going on?" I'm like, "What's going on?" And a lot of people were like, "Yo, they trying to shut down a cupcake shop." It was bigger than just Mount Vernon or just Westchester, the community.
Right. Can I make a comment?
Go ahead.
Because this guy, A.O. Joints, he's making comments, and I know he made derogatory comments before about my mom on a previous show, People Before Politics. And since I'm talking to the supporters, just to let y'all know, he came into the shop and he wanted to say that he support the shop and he doesn't have anything to do with what's going on, whether it's truthful or not. You're not going to come in here and be disrespectful on the show and then come behind the scenes and say you support me.
Yeah,
that's just whack.
That's really,
and I don't like the
sucker move.
negativity, and just be positive, because that's what we're doing right now. We're trying to move forward.
See, but
He already
came
said
to be
nasty
nosy.
things to my mother.
Exactly.
Well, that's why I wasn't.
But
Look,
they came to the shop and said he didn't, he said he supported us. He didn't have anything to do.
But this is the hypocrisy.
He works in City Hall.
Exactly. This is the hypocrisy in black people, right?
It's sad.
Because they get a little paycheck, they got to be slaves. And then you want to come in the shop and talk about, "Yo, I ain't got nothing to do with it.
Man.
That ain't me, man. I ain't fuck all that bullshit." And this is and this is why it's just like I told somebody. I said, "Look, we gonna act like men or we gonna act like niggas." This is the type of show this is, Lauren. So I know if you listen.
Okay, I was
He said
counting
the show that's
all
not afraid to say it.
You know, I know. I'm just saying.
Now, I've
Look,
been on the show one time, but I was counting all the censorship if it was on.
there's no
regular.
censorship on this show. So we could be black men, or we could be niggas, right? I could be a civilized man, or I could be a nigga. And I'm say that to say this.
And I certainly don't condone the usage of that word.
No, look, and I'm using the word as a scientific phrase.
I see what you're saying.
Right? Because niggas are the lowest black thing in the world. See, and when you're dealing with niggas.
But niggas are not just black.
Well, I was just gonna
Well,
say
no,
that too.
niggas are
I
not.
say that,
No,
but then
no,
I said,
no,
no,
no.
not
Can we
saying
move-
that.
can we
Niggas is
move on
not.
to the topic?
Niggas is not that just black, but there was a system in place to create the nigga.
Okay.
Well,
Right,
here's
that
the
we
key.
deal with.
Damon.
Right?
let
No,
me
I'm trying
interrupt for a
to
second.
move forward. What I'm saying is, what
Why
I'm
don't
saying
we
is,
have that
the
about the
disrespect.
N-word on a later show?
Okay, the disrespect that we have and that we see it by niggas, right? And I'm not going to allow people to disrespect my family. But see, that shows I go right back. That just shows to the ignorance culture. There's a underground ignorant culture in Mount Vernon. And for a city to be black and black run, and we have to see all this nigga shit come out of it. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing and it's real. See, because nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to talk about it. We want to sidestep
I agree with
it.
you, Damon. I agree with
He
you.
said, let's be quiet
Because
and
let me
say
just tell you this.
You
If
look.
that tennis court was in Bronxville, we wouldn't have a problem.
Listen.
No,
Exactly.
we wouldn't.
Listen. We're not even. You addressed him.
That's it.
We're not going back and
Moving
forth with
forward.
any more comments. You expressed what you had to say to
Now,
that
But this
individual,
is-
and that
this
was
is
that's
the part-
enough.
This
You know.
just clearly shows what I'm going through as far as harassment. This guy works in City Hall. He works for the mayor. He has sometimes some ties with the mayor, and this is what he's coming on the show to do. Leave us alone, please.
So back to
barely
Lauren.
I can barely hear.
Back to Lauren. Back to Lauren. Lauren. Now in the process, they never respond to you from August all the way up to last week when they tried to again illegally shut down the shop.
Right, and what they did from that time in August, I believe, there was the discussions which should have still taken place. And what I object to, just so you know, the bottom line to the objection is the disparate treatment and the heavy-handedness of shutting a store down.
Yes.
That's not necessary
Yes.
when you're in talks and you're speaking to my clients and you're asking and they're doing all of these things, because nothing can be trusted that's coming out of 1 Roosevelt Square. You can't even trust a negotiation or talking or what they're saying, because within the next the turnaround, they're looking to shut the place down completely and do some things that we now have discovered that had we not been in court on Friday, they probably would have completely shut down Cupcake Cutie. And, there is a higher power that works. And, it worked on Friday. So,
I just want.
so pretty much we believe our position is that we have complied and provided the documents from the Department of Health, the fire department, all kinds of agencies have put up certificates of no issues and all of this other stuff. Mount Vernon is the only entity that continues to go down this road of whatever they're trying to do, which we don't believe has anything to do with the shop itself, but with the attacking the family of Damon Jones. And because of the dates, how they lined up, July 17th, Mr. Spezio's contract was canceled. It was in the papers. And the same day, Mr. Grant comes over to Cupcake Cutie. Those are not just coincidences. So I believe they were planned. You took my business, now I'm going to take your business.
Exactly.
And I believe that can be, we'll prove that in our case.
All right, so I want to move going further that evening, because a lot of things have been said and there's a lot of misinformation, and that's what I want to get to. So basically there was some sort of standoff, and a lot of people were told that you were closed, and a lot of people. What happened that night? I mean, going into, we were all there. First, let me just say, I got the call because I was with Damon. We were doing the newspaper, putting out the paper. We got the call. So, of course, we went to go see what was going on. My point, my perspective point is there's been a lack of due process. You're family, and even if you weren't, though, because other people weren't family, I have a problem with due process. Even if someone is guilty for everything that you said they're guilty of, there is a process on how you have to do what you have to do to remove them, to close their business. There is a due process. So if these people are doing what you're saying you're doing, and you're illegally violating their rights, now we got to pay them. You understand what I'm saying? Like because there's lawsuits because you're violating their rights. There's not a process. There's a process on how you do that, and there's court cases. Same thing with Kayla Tennis. If they owed rent, if that was the case, what they said, there's a process that would have had to have been followed. Not going there at midnight.
The process is to take them to court and put them out.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So we didn't go nowhere that night, and we basically all stood there, and they issued the police to put yellow tape, crime scene tape, across your
that was
door.
Alarming. That's alarming.
Right? Crime scene tape across your door.
Right. That's alarming.
Like there's an active crime here.
Yes.
Like,
right.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Right. And then threaten people, your customers, because then now this I can speak to because I was there. Mm-hmm. Threatened your customers that they would be arrested if they tried to enter the business. Right. And then any of us that came out, we would not be allowed to go back in. So I just wanted to get to that point and get some of the facts out there. Can you speak a little bit more on anything that you want to add to that?
I mean, it's pretty much we are operating. We were operating under a temporary certificate of tenancy. We're looking for the permanent certificate of tenancy, and that's pretty much it. We believe we've complied with everything that the city has asked for. I'm looking at the minutes from the court proceeding, where the judge pretty much wanted, and I'm just looking at it now, the judge pretty much suggested to the lawyer that was representing the city, when I asked, my understanding today is that the city is going to provide in writing a temporary certificate that extends to January 10th, which is true. The judge said, with respect to the signage that was placed on the window, this is the recent one. This is what happened January 2nd. They put up the red sign, hazardous, dangerous condition. I'm reading from the court. It says, with respect to the signage that was placed on the window of the store by the city with the issuance and the extension of the certificate of tenancy, either the city will take down that sign, or the city will authorize the petitioners, which is us, to take down the sign so that they can reopen their business.
Okay, let me stop you right there. I was trying to get things in order because that's the thing, people don't know what's going on. So that night they said you didn't have certain things, right. and an agreement was made that you would stay open for the weekend and y'all would go see them on Monday. What happened from then? Like y'all were supposed to have done a few things. What can you speak to that?
Well, no, I mean I believe there was the city had required, which we're not clear on why, but they had required an architectural drawing. We provided on January 2nd. They came into the store January 2nd. We know that the architect, they can't be made overnight. So we weren't holding up the architectural drawings. The architect produced the drawings on the same day, which was January 2nd, that was taken over to City Hall and brought to them. That's a requirement that we don't believe we really need. They will have to tell us why we need it, but we provided it anyway. Okay. And the fact of the matter is, we believe once that was provided, there was no need. First of all, there's nothing there that says that the premises is dangerous and hazardous. Okay, so the judge said take it down. That's number one, and I'll get to how we got to the judge. So the certificate or the architectural plans were given in. They were stamped in. We know they were stamped in. And then that's January 2nd. January 3rd, we believe they were supposed to come for an inspection. We were told that they were going to come for the needed inspection. We have been open for them to come to inspect since August. So now you come.
Well, see,
you
that's
don't
why
come
I was trying to deal with August up, and you keep going. You got a temporary. After
They gave
that
us
first
a
time.
temporary-
Yes, because I'm trying to go in order.
Another temporary certificate that expired December, so they were supposed to come and inspect.
Okay,
so they can give us a
hello?
permanent-
Right.
No,
I'm
no,
trying
no,
to get
no.
to. Huh?
Let her- she
Go ahead.
just-
Go ahead.
All right, I
Answering
can't.
all the
Yeah.
legal stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Lauren, let me.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just
We
wanna
had a
clear my
temporary
name, the
certificate of
bottom line is I
tenancy.
didn't have any violations.
Okay,
I never
and that
issued any
was
violation.
signed off by the city.
Right.
So that wasn't an issue. There
But
was one.
I just want to make it clear.
I'm not going to go over the case like this.
No.
Let me just get my facts out
Okay.
first.
Okay.
Okay, because I don't want the interruption because I'm going through this the way I believe we should go through this.
Okay.
They issued a temporary certificate of tenancy. There were meetings at City Hall. They wanted to have an architectural drawing. We provided on approximately, I believe it was January 2nd, we provided the drawings.
Another
On
drawing, 'cause we had
January
one in
2nd, they
2015.
put up the red and white sign indicating that they are attempting to close the place down because it was hazardous and dangerous. And then 2 days, the next day, after they received the architectural drawings, January 2nd, they were supposed to inspect. They did not do that. So that is why we ended up in court on January 4th, because they did not give us a certificate of tenancy. In addition to that, they did not come and inspect. So we weren't clear on what their plans were, and that forced us into court. And that's how we ended up in court on January 4th.
Oh, okay. So I just want there's some points that you went over and make clear that there were 2 appointments. The city made 2 appointments to come and inspect. Correct.
Correct.
And they
That's
failed.
November 30th was one of them.
Right.
Too,
And they failed to come on 2 appointments.
What? Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
'Cause for people listening.
Right.
So, how do they go about an appointment? Do they call and say we would like to come in and do an inspection, or do they send a letter?
No, one appointment was negotiated through Council President Andre Wallace. The second was negotiated with Council President Andre Wallace, Chief Zadie, and Dan Jones.
And
The
this-
one, the last
one,
the
last
last
one
one.
where they never showed up.
where they never, when we
So-
all was
so-
waiting out there.
So for individuals who are listening, right, and actually believe that Cupcake Cutie Boutique was in violation, the understanding is that in August, from August until now, there was never a permanent tenancy certificate given.
Right.
Right.
And
No, it was not.
and the lawyer for Cupcake Cutie Boutique was not only mailing letters but taking letters over there by foot to ask what next,
Yes,
and that wasn't answered.
right.
No.
Poor business management.
So it forced us into court on January 4th. And we went before Judge Kakashi, Susan Kakashi. She was pretty much familiar with Mount Vernon because of, I believe, the case of OK Freddy. I believe that's his name. This judge was familiar with something that similarly happened. So based on what she indicated, some of the things she indicated was first to take any signs down that said what was dangerous, and they put up some signs saying Cupcake Cutie was dangerous and hazardous. She said take those signs down, that we should get an extension of the temporary certificate of tenancy, which we went to the office, and we weren't, I kind of was not happy when we went over to City Hall to get it on Friday, because we were followed by a member of the police department And I had to indicate that we were there under the order of the court to come back from court on Friday to go to City Hall to get the temporary certificate of tenancy that had been extended. I don't believe there was any need for the police officer to follow myself and the family around City Hall. Again, we're talking about heavy-handedness in terms of these
very
factors.
heavy-handedness.
I mean, he followed us up to the buildings department. He stood there, and literally, as I'm former corporation counsel of the city of Mount Vernon, and he followed us down into the law department's office. So we had police that was one police officer that was stationed there wherever we went, which is insulting because we were there based upon the court telling us after the court proceeding on Friday, go back to the city and have them extend the certificate of tenancy. So,
yeah,
that was pretty much unbelievable.
So here's the thing. On Wednesday, they stipulated that we're going to come and do an inspection. This is what individuals don't understand, right? They don't understand that they came in Wednesday, they did not close the place, and then they stipulated around 4:30 that they were going to come and do the inspection. They said you have a choice. Would you like the inspection for today, the Wednesday, or for Thursday? No, we would like the inspection for today, but you close at 4:30. No, we will come anyway and do the final inspection. No problem. We will wait for you. We waited there until about 7:15, and nobody came.
No call?
So,
No call.
right. So what was being planned, I believe, and I could be wrong, I don't know if they intended on inspecting, but we received a letter, I believe it was this Saturday.
Oh.
It was dated January 3rd, which was the day before we went to court. Thank God we went to court. But that letter that was January 3rd, that didn't get to Cupcake Cutie until Saturday, said that if you don't come meet with us, we're closing you down on Friday.
What was the date? What was the date on the letter?
January 3rd.
The date was
And they
January-
went to close
because
the-
How would we ever get a letter
I want to
dated
tell you this.
January
Let her
3rd?
say what she's saying. Say it.
How would we ever get a letter dated January 3rd for something that's going on January 4th?
Or 4.
So the intention, I believe, based on my information and belief, I believe the intention was the letter was dated the 3rd, and somehow they knew it was going to get to us after the 4th. And then they would have said, we sent you a letter, and then, boom, the chains were on, and they would have shut Cupcake Cutie down. But with the speaking to the family and working diligently Thursday night, we went to court Friday morning, and thank goodness that we were able to get the decision from the court that allowed the store, to remain open. And I'm even not sure if it was even closed, because there were discussions that it was open, it was not open. In the public, they're saying it's closed, behind closed doors in meetings. Don't worry about it. So you had a different conflict as to whether they even closed or opened the store. So we had to go to court to get it clarified as to what was happening. But the letter was received Saturday. So unfortunately, had we not gone to court, they would have put the locks on, I believe, Friday night.
So the interesting thing about the interesting thing about mail in Mount Vernon in particular, is that if I put something in the mailbox tonight, it is guaranteed that you will get it day after tomorrow.
Okay.
If I put something in the mail, the mail in Mount Vernon travels very quickly. So we're talking Mount Vernon to Mount Vernon.
Yeah.
Even if I put it in the mail, if I put it in today is Monday. If I put it in the mail tomorrow, you are getting it the day after.
Supposed to be.
Because that's how it. I used to work for the mail. I used to work. Yeah,
They
I
look
like damn. You
dysfunctional
work a
right
lot
now.
of jobs.
They dysfunctional right now.
Nah, man.
People are not getting mail. I'm just telling you.
No, well, I don't know what they're doing. I'm letting you know that if it's a Mount Vernon to Mount Vernon mail is very good. You put it in one day, they're going to get it the next day. If it's going to the Bronx, it's going to go there the day after.
All right, I ain't worried about that because at the end of the day, they had no intention.
They were standing outside the whole
Well,
day.
what
If
the
they
point
wanted to
that we're
come and
making
inspect and have a
is
meeting, they could've told
the
me
type
to my
of
face
cunningness
instead of
and the
sending
games man or womanship that is being played, because the letter, if we didn't get the letter, that meant that they were attempting to shut it down on Friday without us even knowing that that's what they were going to do. We just happened to diligently go to court anticipating that, we needed to stop the confusion as to what it is that their plans were, and we stopped the confusion by going to court on Friday.
Exactly. And what city government does not send a certified letter?
Holy Toledo.
Like this is we're
Is
gonna
this
go
a part of the 65 letters that they sent all the letters out like
exactly. This goes back to the dysfunctionality of the whole city government process. If you're going to send a letter to a business that you're about to shut them down, right? You should send the letter certified
mail
at least to prove that you even sent it.
Well, what they wanted to do, and again, I guess at some point, the news is involved. What they wanted to do was show that they had something that was stamped, even though I think that stamp is wrong.
Yeah, well, that stamp is very wrong.
Say December again.
Yeah, it's December. It's December 2019. December. The stamp says.
So what they wanted to show that here we stamped this and we gave it to them. And that's what I believe. And my background is I'm not trying to just accuse. I'm trying to call it the way I see it.
Exactly.
And that's pretty much what I see. I mean, it's simple. It's a letter. You're right across the street. If anything, hand deliver it. Okay, if you can't hand deliver it,
right, you're talking 2 blocks,
then spend $15 for overnighting it, so you have tracking. But you knew that you would stamp it, and if they never received the letter, you could say, I sent them the letter, they didn't respond, and then you shut them down.
Mm-hmm. But you see how God works, because the letter, the stamp is December 33rd,
2019.
Yes.
That's how
So,
God.
I mean, so this is how we're operating, and it's just a sad day for Mount Vernon. It really is a sad day for Mount Vernon. It absolutely is. So.
That's what I'm saying.
So there's
no such thing as December 3rd.
There's a lot of dysfunction going on, and again, due process is not being followed. Now, I don't know if Lauren can speak to this. I don't know if anybody else can speak to this. So, in my research, one of the things that came up, the new building commissioner, his name is Dan Jones. Actually, a picture of him, a mugshot comes up of him.
Messenger.
Yeah, a mugshot came up of him recently that's been shared on social media.
Can you make it? Can you bring it up?
What you mean, make it
Like
bigger?
so? Yeah. So people not squinting. Can you just?
That's full screen. I mean, the screen is full.
Oh, you can't like you used to bring it up to the. Just cut us out and bring so people can see.
Oh, just for that alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. So this is the building commissioner.
What were his charges? What did he do? Nobody knows.
something along the lines of being a peeping Tom or trespassing or something.
Well, let me
No
just say this.
way.
I
Yes,
don't
yeah,
know.
I can tell. I can
I
tell
don't-
you.
He's a
no, hold on,
pervert?
Lauren. Hold on.
I'm not. No, I'm not
I can
trying.
read you the charge. I
Okay.
mean,
We're trying. We're not trying. We're not trying this gentleman for something.
No, we're not.
I mean, he could have been exonerated.
No,
I
no,
don't
no. We
know.
no,
talking on the
no, no.
radio.
Only thing we're saying that he was booked. We're not saying that he was found guilty. We're not saying that he was found innocent. We're saying he was booked. But what I'm saying that this goes into the integrity of the character of the person that has lied. That has lied on my daughter, lied on on my daughter's company publicly. So look, we always have to check the messenger. And we have to check the messenger's integrity. Because he's going to have to testify in front of Judge Kutsek soon. And we have to question his character. And this says a lot about a man's character. But we're not saying he was found guilty. We're just saying he got a mugshot.
Well, I mean, if he, there are issues there. Hopefully he revealed all of this. A background check was done. I don't know what the charges were.
background check don't. They don't do background checks.
Oh, wait a minute. As speaking from Black Westchester Magazine, they do not do background checks, because if they actually did background checks, they would have found out that Joseph Spezio, the deputy commissioner, still has an open case of arson in Greenberg.
He's a prime suspect.
That he's a prime suspect. Joseph Spezio, the deputy commissioner, is a confessed federal informant. They would have found that out.
I don't have any facts that confirm that. I don't
No,
know that.
I'm not speaking on you.
I'm not going to say
Listen,
no, Lauren.
where your paper comes back and there's some other allegations they'll make against you.
Lauren, we're not
Yes?
saying that. We know it for a fact. And that's why I have said before, if I am lying, if the paper is lying, sue us. They won't sue us, they rather attack my family.
Well, let me be as the editor in chief. Let me just be specific. So, Damon has a shirt on right now. That shirt is the cover of the, I believe, July issue, where there was an investigative report done on one Joseph Spezio, and all the things that have been mentioned have been verified, have been fact checked. There are Greenberg Police Department has confirmed that he is, in fact, the prime suspect in an open arson investigation. But I won't get into all the details. Actually, you can just pull up the July issue, because everything is spelled out. And this issue came out, and Damon has challenged them that if there is anything that we're not saying, because they say we're fake news. If there's anything, these people love to go to court, as we see all the time. If anything being said is not true, take us to court. We're the one entity, the one group who has been saying a lot of stuff, who has not been taken to court. They just keep saying it's a lie.
Well, they rather attack my wife, and they rather attack my daughter than attack the facts we bring. That is the basis of the case that we've been saying all along, Lauren, because of the fact that what Black Westchester have reported, what Black Westchester have exposed, they rather attack my family than deal with the issues that's in the paper. And that's the heart of that's the heart of the reason why we're here. That's the heart of the reason why we're still fighting for a certificate of tenancy. Because of what we have exposed.
And the fact that, I mean, we've called his appointment illegitimate, based on the former police commissioner,
Robert Kelly,
who's sworn testimony and in response to the lawsuit that Richard Thomas put out, spelled everything out. That one, he was told to make Spezio deputy police commissioner, and when he went through the process of doing it, when it got to the part of your identification and proving your New York State residency, he presented his Florida driver's license, and Robert Kelly spelled out that, forget about Mount Vernon, New York State law no one is allowed to swear in as a sworn-in law enforcement without being a New York State resident. So we've put out, and Damon has been very vocal about this, that his position, in fact, is illegitimate. Dr. Bob, who is not here, did another investigation that if they had investigated and went through the process that they're supposed to go through, he should not be, because he's had legal problems and other things before, that should have negated him, and he should not have ever been approved to have a license to cart in the city of Mount Vernon. A lot of these things were brought up. There are evidence, there's facts. We've presented the whole thing out there.
And even presented it to the county government, in which eventually he was stripped
of the county contract.
Of his county contract.
And he right now is fighting for the rights to have a contract anywhere in Westchester County, point blank, from the Solid Waste Commission. So I've talked to them. I've talked to his competitors. We had a very detailed investigative report, and there was a lot of witnesses that gave us the information on record with their name, and these are the things that came out. And he was the cover, as you can see on Damon's shirt, the cover of the July issue, the month before this incident happened at Cupcake Cutie. The issue before had Mayor Thomas, was an investigative report on Mayor Thomas' alleged crimes and his whole situation with him and the New York State Attorney General. These were the two issues that preceded the attempted shutdown to Cupcake Cutie.
But even preceded that, and Lauren, I want you to go into that. From January 1st of Mayor Thomas's swearing in, he has attacked my wife because of the fact that we were outspoken on the appointment of someone who has no law enforcement experience. In the AG's indictment, they mention. Now, see, we dealing with facts, not just because we just don't like somebody or this. No, we're dealing with facts. The AG indictment says
a
campaign donor was made, had a high position, was appointed to a high position in law enforcement with no law enforcement experience. The same one that gave him all the money. Now, Lauren, I want you to talk about.
He's referred to as individual number one.
Yeah, individual number one. That's Mr. Speedy.
Which is a unindicted co-conspirator. From watching all the stuff with Mueller on the national level, they don't mention the co-conspirators until they actually indict them. So they mention them as individual one and individual two.
So
he
Lauren,
is individual one.
Lauren, for the last we got 25 minutes. I want you to talk about the recent filing of the lawsuit of Detective Jones against Mayor Thomas, Joseph Spezio, the city of Mount Vernon Police Department, and why?
Well, we filed on December 4th on behalf of Detective Jones a federal civil rights claim, First Amendment claims, and also retaliation based on 1983 Civil Rights Act, various acts, based on the kinds of, we call it retaliation on every level, retaliation at her job, retaliation because she is part owner of Cupcake Cutie, and also because of her obvious association and marriage to Damon Jones. We believe that we were able and will be able to prove that for a period since the new administration took over, that Ms. Jones has been going through a level of harassment and continued harassment for exercising her First Amendment rights and her rights under civil rights law. So, we sued in the capacity, obviously, the mayor, Richard Thomas. We sued Joe Spezio as the overseer of the police department. And Dan Jones, who is the commissioner of the buildings department, We also sued him, and we sued them in their official and individual capacity because we're seeking punitive damages from the individuals that we name, in hopes that if we prevail, the judge will hit them in their pockets because the taxpayers are just paying through the nose based on this egregious conduct. I looked at a couple of cases before I took the phone and called in. There are things called, there are criminal charges out there called malfeasance. They're in other states. I'm not clear if they're being used in New York. But when you have elected officials that are using city employees and police departments for political reasons, that is actually criminal. So these are criminal charges that can be brought also against the cohorts that are working in concert in the city to utilize people like the Troy Grants who come over and to the store and don't know why they're there, but you send them there to harass. Or the two gentlemen last week, January 2nd, who just sat outside the store of Cupcake Cutie and just said, I don't know why I'm here, talk to the other guy. Utilizing taxpayer money for political purposes and retribution is actually a crime.
Exactly.
And we're hoping that the highest level of law enforcement in this state takes a look at what's going on. Now, I sued Mr. Spezio. He is the deputy police commissioner. And that seems to be his official title. He is over police department, and I say overseer for a reason.
Why do you say that?
Well, because we have, which is unique, we have a very wonderful, and not all of them are problematic, but we have an almost up-color police department. And we have a person who is pretty much calling the shots, who is technically is a non-police officer who is pretty much running the police department. He is not acting in an honorary capacity like the other gentleman was. He's acting in a capacity as a pseudo-commissioner. He tells the commissioner, from what we have in our lawsuit, he tells the commissioner what to do. He told another commissioner what to do, and I believe that commissioner resigned. He tried to tell another commissioner what to do. That commissioner either got fired or quit or something to that effect. So that's what we have. So we've had commissioners who've quit, who are true law enforcement officers who pretty much said, I can't work for this guy because he's not a police person. But we have the police officers of color that still remain there, taking orders from a non-police officer who is pretty much running the police department, and we say okay with it. We of color say that's okay. The integrity is that if you are in a situation where this gentleman is giving you orders with no police background, then it's time for you to move on to another place and show some level of integrity.
Exactly.
So that's what I think should happen, and that's why I say overseer.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And I just wanted, and Lauren, just like I said, I like to back up when I say something, I like to back it up. So this is the arrest sheet of Daniel P. Jones, which took place on October 11th, 2018. The charge was 2C 18-38. And when you pull that up, that is unlicensed entry to a structure, defiant trespasser, peering into dwelling places, defense. That's a damn peeping Tom.
You said November. You said
October.
November.
Well, let me just say something. I need to say this statement.
All right, let us say.
We're not trying to do all of this on any race level.
No.
There were white police commissioners that had the background as police officers. There was Robert Kelly. I believe his name is Robert Kelly. There was Mr. Fatigate. Those were, even whether you liked them, their politics, who they were, who they not, the community relationship, they were at least qualified as police officers. And that's what I'm talking about. So it's not a question of black and white.
Well,
it's a question of
my
not
comment
having any qualifications for this job, which is very, that is very important and dangerous to the people of Mount Vernon.
Okay.
Now I'll stop.
All I was saying is I made a statement, and I'm backing up my statement with facts.
You got it.
Okay.
Of what I said, so that people don't just assume that I'm just throwing stuff out there.
Lauren, there is, we just posted a Mount Vernon policy, and it's under the Code of Conduct. And in it says, New York State election law, section 1711, misdemeanors concerning members of the police force. I'm trying to turn it so I can read it correctly. It says, any person who, being a police commissioner or any officer or member of any police force in this state uses or threatens or attempt to use his official power of authority in any manner, directly or indirectly, to aid or against any political party, organizations, associations, society, or to control or affect or influence, reward or punish the political adherence, affiliation, action, or expression or opinion of any citizen. This is in their policy. And Spezio has violated this policy. And I have shown it to the union president back in August, and he has yet to get back to me on what the PBA is going to do about this. Because it's an ongoing situation. And we haven't heard anything from the PBA. I showed it to Gamble. And it's a shame that the PBA president didn't even know the damn thing was in the policy. So the question is, what is the police PBA going to do about it? It's been going on and on and on and on.
How long you been there?
Who? How long who been there?
Spezio or Gamble?
The dude.
It doesn't matter how long you been there.
I'm saying,
the question is, what is the PBA going to do about their own policy?
The reason why I asked you
which dude?
The cat who's not supposed to be in there.
Spezio.
He's been in there
3 years.
He's not leaving.
No,
they ain't doing nothing about it.
No, exactly. But here it is in policy.
Even if you show them that, they're not doing that, man.
Well, then that's the question. Why
Because
not?
individuals should be insulted. Like, I would be insulted, understand, as an educator, that someone who is not an educator, Betsy DeVos, understand what I'm saying?
Tell us how you really feel.
Is in charge of education and have no clue as to what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? If in my family is breast cancer, I'm not going to the pet store and go talk to the doctor there about breast cancer.
Exactly.
So these police officers, they're going to sit down.
So in other words,
Mount Vernon needs a qualified. We have too many crime issues in Mount Vernon that have to be addressed. But if the police commissioner or the deputy police commissioner is spending more time trying to figure out how to attack or retaliate against the officers and Damon Jones, I mean, to me, their focus should be more on what are we going to do to cut crime and what are the policies and what are the things that we can do to make sure that we steer a lot of these young men and women out of crime. We should be talking about those issues, but we're talking about this gentleman that's over there basically trying to get Damon Jones back for the things that he says. That's not where the focus should be.
Let me ask you something. We're coming close to the close of the show, and just so we have some, what hope can people have? What can people do? What can we do to move forward? with all the things that are going on, do you have any advice legally or otherwise for people that are listening? Like, I mean, to listen to all of this stuff, it just seems like the city is hopeless and there's nothing you can do, and it just seems like, what the hell?
Well,
can we move? Can we come up with something?
Well, what I said when I was up in the courthouse, what is happening is because we have politicians that are inexperienced with making decisions. The people, thank goodness, on different levels, the people that are actually running Mount Vernon are members of the judiciary. Because every issue that comes up that a decision cannot be made or you can't bring people together in Mount Vernon,
gotta go to court.
The judiciary continues to break the tie. So not only are we spending money on a mayor and all the deputy commissioners and the commissioners to make decisions, we're now spending money legally. The taxpayers' money is going to now, every time there's a decision that seems to be controversial or you can't really come together and make a decision, we're letting the people up there in White Plains make those decisions for us. So we're really relying on the judiciary to actually run this city.
Exactly.
And I put that analogy together. It's kind of funny.
That's real good. I like that. I'm going to have to steal that.
But they told us there are more than 15 cases up there now.
Mm-hmm.
There are numerous cases that are up there where if we came together and we had a competent individual who can make decisions and believe that there may be decisions right, there may be decisions wrong, then we wouldn't continue to end up in litigation so we can get the court to keep making policy decisions for the city of Mount Vernon. And that's sad because we're clogging up the judiciary with the problems that we have in Mount Vernon.
That's right.
Well, okay. I want to thank everybody, and I want to just say one of the things, someone asked, when is the next election? The election is this summer. The primary is this September. The election is this November. The election for mayor, the election for 2 city council seats. If you do not like the things that you are hearing, this is what you can do. You can vote for somebody else. Mm-hmm. Your vote put the person that's in office in, and your vote can put somebody else in. If we're not getting the results that we want as residents, it is our duty to step up, to register to vote for those who are not registered, for those who are to go out and learn everything you can about the people that are running. So we're not just voting for people for popularity contests because that's my man or she's cool or that's so-and-so's brother or whatever the hell else reasons people vote for people. If we sit there and vote for people that have our interests at heart, we would have better situations. There's a saying that you get the government that you deserve because you vote for that person. You vote for it. So that's, in closing, that is the silver lining that we have an election coming up. And you, the people, have the power to change it. The mayor assigns all commissioner positions. If you don't like the way your city is being governed, your police department is being run, vote for a mayor who is going to put people in there that have your best interests at heart. That means you got to go out and do your homework. You got to find out about these politicians. When they have debates and town forums, you got to go and ask them the questions that you care about, or your concerns will never be addressed because other people are doing that and their concerns are being addressed, but a lot of ours are not because we are not going out, especially as the black and brown community. We're not going out. We're not asking the questions. When some of us ain't not voting, some of us are just voting for whoever your man is voting for.
Right.
You know what I mean? People tell me, yo, AJ, so who you voting for? Who should I vote for? No, I'm not telling you who you should vote for.
Exactly.
I'm going to present you with who everybody is, and then you make up your own mind. You shouldn't vote for somebody because I'm voting for him.
It's a true
you know
conversation. Delta Sigma Theta did an election during the midterms. We were at Cupcake Cutie Boutique, and we greeted individuals who were coming in and talked to them about voting. Mm-hmm. And individuals were honest. And these are not individuals who don't have a job. These are not individuals who don't have a career, have a house, and are doing well. These are individuals who have One man said to me the last time I voted was for Barack Obama. Another dude said to me, I don't vote unless it's a black person that's running. Another guy said to me, I didn't know that there was a midterm, which I do understand, right? And another individual said to me, well, who should I vote for? I said, well, where do you live? He said, Queens. I said, I like, you know, like a magic out of a hat. He said, well, I moved from Queens and I live somewhere else. And I said, well, when's the last time you voted? He said, I couldn't tell you. And so what individuals don't understand that they like it like that.
Well, the people that are in power,
right,
they benefit,
right,
and I've heard this specifically from the people at the head of Mount Vernon government. They benefit on the small group of people that do vote. That's all they cater for, and everybody else they pay no attention to because them people don't vote, and they benefit on keeping the community uninformed and misinformed.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's your job
Keeping
to
them
try
down.
to get as informed as possible. We try to assist in that as much as possible by having individuals up here, and we grill them, and then you have a chance to see what, you know, them answer some questions that nobody else is going to ask them. But that's what you can do this year. Vote. That's one of the biggest things. Damon, last word, 30 seconds or less.
Oh man, excuse me. Hey, I want to thank everybody that came on the show. I want to thank Maisha for I want to praise Maisha for standing up to injustice and showing young people throughout Mount Vernon that, you know, you could take your own control and not be bullied. The big thing is just not be bullied. You can stand up, especially when right's on your side, man. When you got right, it doesn't matter. But you know, God, you know, nobody can do anything to you that God won't allow them to do you to. So don't even worry about that. And I've told Spezio that to his face. So we're going to keep moving on, and thank everybody that support the family and support the shop and support Black Westchester and support what we do as a family in the community, because we're not going to stop doing it, and we're not going to be ran out of the community. We're going to stay in the community because Spezio and them will not be here long. You bet on that. So
and you got
gotta
people
move
and you
forward.
got people making permanent decisions of a temporary situation, like drawing battle lines that they ain't never gonna be able to come back for.
No.
And you got to live
Yo,
here
and
when the people
and you know what's
when
crazy?
the people that are no longer in office that you stood
and you know
behind,
what's crazy?
You got to look these same people in the
Right.
face.
You know what's
every day.
crazy? I could guarantee you in 2020, the same people that's rah-rah Richie is going to be rah-rah the next mayor. Right? They're going to be rah-rah the next mayor. I've watched people from Clinton to all them jump around just to get a job, man. I
want to give
it's
Maisha at least a last saying, you know, to the people that support her, anything that you want to.
I mean, I just want to say thank you to all of my my family, friends, my supporters, customers,
Social media,
coworkers.
where people can find you on social media.
Social media is Cupcake Cutie Boutique on Instagram and Facebook. We're
Where are you located
in
again?
Mount Vernon on 8 South 6th Avenue. So you stop by.
And it's
On
Cupcake
Tuesday,
Cutie
we
now.
have $2 Tuesdays. All the cupcakes are $2.
Oh, snap.
Follow us on Instagram. You can see the flavors
It's over.
daily. And I just want to say thank you to all of my supporters who, you know, been giving me strength to stand up for what is right. Me
You're
and my
doing a
mom
great job. You're doing a
appreciate
great
it.
job.
And thank you to my attorney, Lauren. We had a small win on Friday with the court. So we're just looking forward to moving forward tomorrow. We have a meeting with the building
Absolutely.
department.
I look forward to. I'll see you guys in the morning.
Yes.
Cynthia, 30 seconds or less.
I just want to give a shout out to this little butterfly over here.
Absolutely.
That's my little butterfly. That's what I call her. And she knows anything that she wants, anything that she needs, that I am there front and center.
Yeah, Cynthia
And
be
I
showing up from
Appreciate
Belize.
that she's standing tall. And I also appreciate that she is an example for those who are thinking about leaving Mount Vernon to go to college, for them to come back. She is the example. She is the prime example that we need. And let girls learn, and Black Black Girls Bake and Black Girls Rock. Thank you.
Lorraine, 30 seconds or less.
Well, I was going to say the same thing Damon and Cynthia said, but I just want to reiterate how much I admire you. You are an amazing young woman, and what an amazing role model you are. And I'm just honored to be sitting here with you right now.
Thank you.
You're just a phenomenal young lady. God bless you. And I also want to say I want Cynthia back.
I'll be back.
Cool.
So
I'm setting
we
up
wanna,
something with AJ.
we want to thank everybody for tuning in. We
Thank
definitely
you.
want to give one more round of applause to Maisha.
I like that round of applause with you. I wish I had it at home.
Okay, I got 20 seconds. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. This is the People Before Politics radio show. We're on every Sunday, 6 to 8 on InTheMixRadio.com, giving you real talk for the community since 2014. This is episode 197. The 200th episode is coming up.
Wow.
January 27th. Sponsors, if you're interested in sponsoring, hit us at blackwestchester@gmail.com. We got some big surprise guests coming. Cynthia, all the previous co-hosts will be here. It's going to be on and popping until, and don't forget to check us tomorrow on WVOX on the Black Westchester Power Hour from 11 a.m. to 12 noon. Until next week, peace.
22 million black victims of Americanism are waking up, and they're gaining a new political consciousness, becoming politically mature. And as they develop this political maturity, they're able to see the recent trends in these political elections. Any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who go to the White House and who stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. When we open our eyes today and look around America, we see America not through the eyes of someone who has enjoyed the fruits of Americanism. We see America through the eyes of someone who has been the victim of Americanism. We don't see any American dream. We've experienced only the American nightmare. We haven't benefited from America's democracy. We've only suffered from America's hypocrisy. And the generation that's coming up now can see it and are not afraid to say it. 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 And are not afraid to say it.